In this presentation today, we're going to be looking at thermostatic mixers, in particular all the different thermostatic mixers that are offered by the Lexel Group in Africa. The first one we will be looking at is the domestic thermostatic mixer from Cobra, which is available basically for showers. You wouldn't be using it for a bath because your flow rate is too low, but there are other different installation options that you can use it for. For instance, for a baby bath in the pediatric ward at a hospital, in hotels for normal guests there in the shower, and typically in old age homes also for a shower. You will see that on the handle there is a red override button, so it has a 38-degree safety stop, so you have to consciously depress the button to get a hotter temperature. Some of the things that are known about the mixer is on the comfort side. It has a ceramic disc mechanism which allows it to move effortlessly, and you can easily select your temperature with a smooth movement. It has a full temperature range setting from 20 to 60 degrees Celsius, and as I said, it's got the 38-degree safety stop on there. It will maintain a constant shower temperature on the setting that you choose to within about 1 degree of where you've set it. You don't need to readjust it at all. All you need to do is turn the flow meter on and off. Otherwise, your temperature will stay there. It has an integral anti-scald cutout feature, so that if the cold water had to stop flowing for any particular reason, then it would automatically turn the hot water off also. It complies with all relevant South African standards, and just take note that you need to have balanced water pressure for the installation to work, but that is a South African legislation and not just ours. Some of the advantages is that it is water efficient and energy efficient, not that it uses any less water or anything like that, but the fact that you have your preset on there and it will automatically bring it to that temperature setting. You don't have to play around with water blend to try and find that optimal setting for yourself. It is also one of the most cost-effective thermostatic mixers on the market today, so it is affordable by most people. The external cartridge design allows for easy and economical maintenance, so you can easily work on it or remove it anytime you need to work on it. You do not have to chop out of the wall or anything like that. It is all available from outside. It has a non-corrosive DZR brass body and a high density polymer materials on the handles. The next product that we will be looking at is the tempering valve. It comes preset from the factory at 55 degrees Celsius, but you can adjust it anywhere between 35 degrees and 60 degrees Celsius, and your maximum incoming temperature is 99 degrees Celsius, the minimum being 65 degrees Celsius. The reason why it is factory preset to 55 is because that is the optimum temperature if you're still going to be blending some cold water for a normal shower. Your thermal diverter valve, which is used with heat pump installations, comes factory set to 45 degrees Celsius. This should not be adjusted, and it does not have any non-return valves like the previous one had. The reason for this is the direction of flow is different to a normal thermostatic mixer, and you need free flow in all three directions there. Your KD 2.204 is your more industrial one from Cobra, and that can take up to about 12 to 13 showers depending on what the flow rate of those showers are. How it works is when it is first commissioned, it will be closed from the cold water side. You'll only be getting hot water coming through. As your water, blended water, now moves over your thermal probes, the valve will then move in the cartridge to allow cold water through, and by having a blend of moving backwards and forwards, it will constantly be blending it and keeping it to the desired temperature. It also has the anti-scald feature built into this, so it will cut off any hot water if it goes over the desired temperature. If you look at the line drawing on here, we'll see that the male threads on the connections are all 1.25" or 32mm on the outside of the tailpiece, and on the inside it's also threaded, female thread 1 inch, so you don't have to have an adapter to bush it down for a smaller reticulation design. It's already got the 1 inch on the inside, and then on the side of it is your circulation feed coming back as a 1 inch on there. There are different ways of connecting this thermostatic mixer in a whole bank, and the first one that is shown here is without a circulatory pump. So you would have a dead leg from the mixer to the last shower, so ideally this would be very close to the terminal point, making sure you don't have a long dead leg. This is the safest way of installing it, so you don't have to keep on blending for Legionella or for doing the cleansing line for Legionella occurring. This one here in front of you now is with a circulatory pump. You will see that from the end of the shower line there's a feed coming back, and you can see from the installation drawing that it becomes quite complex, the way of having to fit this. You must make sure that all the valves and so forth that are shown in here are put in place, otherwise it is going to be a dangerous and a non-effective installation. Please make sure that you contact Cobra and get their technical department to assist you if you haven't done one of these installations before. As I say, the correctness of the installation is very critical. If we look at SANS 10252, it tells us that with blending water or any water use, there must be a composition of rubber that must be used that will not form a source of nutrient for bacteria, and this is referring to Legionella pneumophila. Stored water must not exceed 20 degrees Celsius, and in a hot water installation it will not be stored between 25 and 45 degrees Celsius. It must be at least 55 degrees Celsius. Hence the necessity for you to be able to do a cleansing cycle if you are going to be doing a ring feed, dropping the temperature down to 38 degrees Celsius. Once a week you then have to bring the system, decommission it, bring the temperature up to 60 degrees Celsius, circulate for an hour, and then bring it down to your 38 degrees Celsius again. Becomes a little bit of a drag having to do this regularly, and that's why I said the easier way to install it is with that little bit of a dead leg at the end, that you don't have water stored then at the 38 degrees Celsius. Legionella can, if you look at this chart, can survive at anything up to 20 degrees Celsius, but it lies there dormant. Then it becomes ideal growth range at 35 to 46, which is exactly where we would be having our blending water. Up to 55 it can survive, but it will not multiply. Then at 55 degrees Celsius it dies within 5 to 6 hours. So if we're constantly circulating that line there at 55, not a problem. Then the cleansing one has to be done at 60 degrees Celsius. So if we've got that circulatory ring feed at 38, it's got to be brought up to 60 degrees Celsius, and we see then they die within 32 minutes. From 66 Legionella will die within 2 minutes, and then 70 to 80 is your total disinfection range. What is this Legionella pneumophila? It is a disease where you breathe in the spores and it gives you flu-like symptoms. It was discovered firstly after 1976 when there was an outbreak in Philadelphia of the American Legion, and eventually they found out what this was all about. But it wasn't actually the first cases. Previously, in 1968, it was referred to as Pontiac fever in Michigan, and then it was given the new name in 1976. But you can think to yourself, is it really that common today? We know about it. Well, if we have a look at this article in the New York Times of March the 28th, 2018, it shows us that even if you have one of these little play ducts that your kids use in the bath and they're squirting water at themselves and it doesn't dry out properly on the inside, it can give you Legionella and make them sick. The fact of it is also that if we look at this article from the National Disease Surveillance System, and that's a report done by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention from 2000 to 2017, the reported cases of Legionnaire's disease have gone up by 550%. 5.5 times is what it was. So even though we know a lot more about it, we don't seem to be doing anything much about it. So it is still very prevalent and we've got to watch against it. So the Grower Smart Control, what is nice about that one is that you have got individual buttons that you can adjust then for your different shower options. It has a temperature setting of 38 degrees also on it, which is a safety stop with an override on it. So it has got the smart control, as we said, on the front, where you just have a little button that you can push to select which one of the 3 settings you want. And also on the outside of that is a knurling, which you can turn then to give you your flow control. It has 2 different overhead showers, and also it is got the safety stop at 38 degrees, as we said. It uses a Grower Turbostat, which is 0.3 seconds reaction time on the thermostat instead of the 0.6 of all the other thermostatic mixers. See, that's just an indication where you've got your different settings. The one on the left hand side will be the first spray pattern on your overhead shower. The total right hand side is the other spray pattern, and in the middle is your hand shower. It has a zinc die-cast body which is ported in such a way that it has the cool touch, so the body of the mixer will never really get warm. It'll get warm, but it won't make it hot enough that you can burn on it. The top has got safety glass tray to put any of your soaps or anything like that on, your shampoos, but it's also removable to do any maintenance on the system. It has got a metal thermostatic handle with a safety stop, and then, as I said, the front has got the buttons to select your different options, and it's got a little icon to indicate to you what it is that you are busy selecting. If you have any further questions or comments or inquiries on these products, feel free to contact our after sales support department on 0861 21 21 21, and they will help you as soon as they can. Thank you for your attention during this training session.